So the next one is VHDL identifiers. VHDL identifiers. What are identifiers? Identifiers are nothing but things here. So exactly what is a VHDL identifier? VHDL identifiers are user defined words. VHDL identifiers are user defined words. They are used to name the objects in the VHDL. మీరు ఒక సిస్టమ్ డిజైన్ చేస్తున్నారు, you are designing a digital circuit. So in that digital circuit, so there are different things are there, like entity is a thing, architecture is a thing, component is a thing. So therefore, so here the identifiers are nothing but names of the things you create here. అంటే మీరు ఏదైతే యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారో దానికి ఒక నేమ్ ఇవ్వాలి కాబట్టి ఆ నేమ్స్ నే మనం ఇక్కడ ఐడెంటిఫైర్స్ అని చెప్తాం. సో సింప్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ యూజర్ డిఫైన్డ్ వర్డ్స్ that are used to name the objects in the VHDL model. Example. So దీనికి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఏం తీసుకోవచ్చు? సిగ్నల్స్, వేరియబుల్స్, కాన్స్టాంట్స్ ఆర్ ఎంటిటీ నేమ్స్, ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ నేమ్స్, కాంపోనెంట్ నేమ్స్, and even the process names and the function names, procedure names. All these are the things they are used to build the digital system. So now to name them, to name the signals, to name the variables, to name the entity, to name the architecture, or to name the procedures. So for all these we use the user defined words. So these words are called the VHDL identifiers. They are called the identifiers. Okay, and here there are two kinds of the identifiers are there. Two types of the identifiers. In VHDL we have two types of the identifiers. The first one, basic identifiers. Second is extended identifiers. So we will see the basic identifiers and the extended identifiers with examples. So identifiers are user defined words. They are used to name the objects. User defined words, they are used to name the objects in the VHDL. So the basic identifiers. So there are certain rules governing the identifiers. So there are certain rules governing the identifiers. So we will see those rules and how to write the identifiers. Okay, so here the first rule is a name or an object cannot be a VHDL reserved word. A name, it cannot be a VHDL reserved words. So it cannot be a keyword. So you know what are the keywords. So examples to the keywords are entity, architecture, port map, begin, off, end, and, or, NAND, all basic functions. They are the reserved keywords. So an identifier, it cannot be a keyword. Okay, and the second one, the identifier, it should consist only the alphanumeric codes here. It should consist only the alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric characters such as the letters, numbers, underscore. Letters can be accepted, numbers can be accepted, and only underscore, special symbols. From these special symbols, only the underscore is accepted. No other than the underscore, no special character, special symbol is accepted as a identifier. Okay, and here, so the identifier should contains the first letter character is a letter. In the identifier, the first character is a letter. It must be a letter. It should not be a number. It should not be a underscore. Okay, and the first and last characters not underscore. So here the VHDL identifier must begin with the first character as the letter, and the first and last characters, it cannot be an underscore here. It cannot be underscore here. So it should not start with the underscore and it should not end with the underscore. In between you can use the underscore. And the two underscores in succession is illegal here. So if you use consequently two underscores, if you use two underscores consequently, if you use the two underscores, that is illegal. It cannot have two underscores consequently. Okay. And the identifier is a case sensitive here. Sorry, it is a case insensitive here. So you can use the both uh, uppercase letters and the lowercase letters, or you can use the combination of the uppercase and lowercase. So it is case insensitive. The identifiers in the VHDL are case insensitive, which is under the basic identifiers, case insensitive. And the another rule is identifier can be of any length. It can be of any length. Maximum you can take the 32-bit length character. Actually, there is no limit, but with the constraints of the software, with the constraints of the data variables, so it can be up to the 32-bit. I mean that 32 letters can have can an identifier have. Okay, so these are the basic identifier rules. So what are the rules of the basic identifiers? A name cannot be a VHDL keyword, and the identifier must use the alphanumeric letters such as the letters, numbers and underscore, and an identifier must start with a letter, and an identifier, it should not end with the underscore, and the two underscores are illegal in the basic identifiers, and it is the case insensitive and can have any length here. So now we will see some of the examples of the basic identifiers. So now, can you tell the legal and illegal identifiers? Can you identify the legal and illegal identifiers from the examples here? Can you identify the legal and illegal identifiers? If X is a legal identifier, X underscore Y is a legal identifier because the underscore is between the two letters. And what about this? The third one? What about the third one? Is it legal or illegal? It is illegal. Why? Because the identifier is started with the number. It should not start with the number. And the second one you take, and the next one, see, XR2A. It is a legal identifier. And 5Z, illegal identifier. Not illegal identifier. So why the not is a illegal? Why the not is a illegal? Because the not is a keyword. The not is a keyword. Okay. And the sum underscore. This is also a illegal. It is not a identifier. And what about this one? A-B. It is also illegal identifier because except the underscore, it will not accept any special character. Only underscores are allowed. No other special character symbols are not allowed. So A-B is a illegal identifier. And what about this one? Underscore gate underscore design, illegal underscore. And what is this? The strong logic driver. It is a lengthy identifier which is acceptable because the identifier can be any length here. It can be any length. So do you understand the basic identifiers? Do you understand? So B respond. Do you understand the basic identifiers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And the next one is the extended identifiers here. So the extended identifiers, so again here also there are rules governing to identify the to have the identifiers. So in this extended identifiers, a sequence of letters are placed between the two backslash characters. So simply the sequence of letters are enclosed by the backslash character. By the backslash character. So till now the identifier has no special characters such as the backslash. But here the sequence of letters are written between the two backslash, between the two backslash. And the extended identifier is the case sensitive. Basic identifiers are the case insensitive. Extended identifiers are case sensitive. So upper cases and lower cases are differentiated. They are distinguished here. And the next one, any of the allowable characteristics can be used. Any allowable characteristics can be used, including the characters like dot, exclamatory, at the rate, and dollar. Like it accepts any special symbol or character which is available, which is in the ASCII code. So let's see the examples here. Sorry. Let's see the examples here. So now see here, the text. It is one of the example. So where the text is in the uppercase letters. And this actually in the basic identifier, it is accepted. It is accepted as a basic identifier also, even if you not take the two backslashes. If it is not put between the two backslashes also, it is a identifier, basic identifier. But if it is between the two backslashes, it is the extended identifier. And this one, a legal and extended identifier. Now, the upper letter text and the lower letter text are same. Is it the same? No, because it is a case sensitive. The upper cases are different, lower cases are different. And now see this one, process. Actually, the process is a keyword. But in the extended identifiers, you can also use the keywords as your identifier. The condition is the process must be between the two backslashes. So this is legal. And the count. See, the count is in two different forms here. The count in the lower cases is different between the count, this one. These two are different identifiers. They are no more same here because it is an extended identifier. These letters are placed between the two backslashes. And now see this one. Actually, in the basic identifier, it is not accepted. But as a extended identifier, it is identified. It can be used as a identifier. You can use this as an identifier, your user word, user defined word, and also the 7400 TTL. Now see this last one. See this last case. So do you observe any difference? So can you see any difference here? Till this, we have only one backslash only, but here you have double line backslash. Even if you have a double line backslash also, it will be taken as a single backslash. It will be taken as a single backslash here. So these are the extended identifiers. So what are the identifiers? User defined words are used to name the objects in the VHDL. Or simply the identifiers are the names of the things you create. Whatever you create here, so for that you will give the name. So there are mainly two identifiers: basic identifiers, extended identifiers, and there are certain rules to accept it as an identifier. So this is very important for the short answers. Okay, identifiers, VHDL identifiers. So you understand this identifiers, basic identifiers and extended identifiers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is about VHDL identifiers. And the next one, very important one, VHDL data objects. VHDL data object. So what is a data object here? The next very important topic, VHDL data objects. Data objects. So a data object holds a value of a specified type. It holds a value of a specified type or a range of values of a specified type. It can hold a single value or it can hold a list of values of a specified type. Here, the data objects have class and type. The data objects have the class and type. So what is class and what is type, we will see. Data objects have the classes. It will have 4 classes and types. There are different types of the predefined types and user defined types are there, data types. But the data objects have class and type. And the data objects may have an explicit initial value. So it is an optional one. So if you want to assign an object, if you want to assign an object with the initial value, you can assign with that an initial value. So the objects may have an explicit initial value. If it is necessary, you can use it. It is an optional one, initial value, right? And where we can use the data objects here. So where we can use the data objects. Objects are used in package declaration, entity declaration, architecture body, process. So you can, where we can use the data objects, you can use in the package declaration, you can use in the entity declaration, architecture body, processes, and in the functions and procedures. In all these, we use the data objects. We use the data objects. So what is how we can simply understand data object here? Data objects are things that holds the values. For example, మీరు ఒక ఫిజికల్ సర్క్యూట్ తీసుకోండి, హాఫ్ యాడర్ సర్క్యూట్. హాఫ్ యాడర్ లో మనకి ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి? ఇన్పుట్స్ అండ్ అవుట్పుట్స్ డిఫైన్ చేశాం కదా, మీరు బ్యాక్ లో మనం ఒకసారి డిస్కస్ చేసిన స్లైడ్ లో. సో ఏమున్నాయి? ఇన్పుట్స్ ఏ అండ్ బి ఉన్నాయా? అవుట్పుట్స్ ఏమున్నాయి? సమ్ అండ్ క్యారీ ఉందా? సో నౌ what are that A and B, sum and carry? They are objects. The A and B may be a signal object, or the A and B may be a variable object, or the A and B are maybe a constant, or it may be a file here. So which means that in the package declaration, we will declare the different types of the data types. In the entity, we will declare the input signals and output signals. In the architecture body, we will describe the component declarations and the variable declarations and function declarations. Again, in the functions, we can also declare the signals and the signals and variables. So therefore, where we can use the data objects are used in package declarations, entity, architecture, subprograms. Okay. And so what does this class determine here? So the objects, basically the objects have the class and type. So what is class here? The class determines the kind of operation, that is the possible operation for an object here. The class determines the kind of operations possible for an object. Where the type determines because the object has two things, class and type. Okay, class and type. The class determines the possible operation, and the type determines the legal values for an object here. The legal values for an object. సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాసేటప్పుడు మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాసేటప్పుడు మనకి ఏముంటాయి, కొన్ని ఏంటంటే సిగ్నల్స్ ఉంటాయి, కొన్ని ఏముంటాయి వేరియబుల్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఎందుకంటే టైం టు టైం ఏమవుతుంది, అప్డేట్ అవుతుంటుంది కదా, వేరియబుల్ అనేది మారుతూ ఉంటుంది కదా టైంతో పాటుగా. కొన్ని ఏముంటాయి కాన్స్టాంట్స్ ఉంటాయి. లెట్స్ సే పై అన్నాం అనుకోండి. పై అంటే ఏంటి, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ కాన్స్టాంట్ విచ్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎ వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ సంథింగ్ 3.14, రైట్. సో అంటే మనం ఒక సర్క్యూట్ ని డిస్క్రైబ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆ సర్క్యూట్ ని ఫిజికల్ లేయర్ లో మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే the circuit may consist the signals, the circuit may consist the variables, the circuit may consist the constants. So now what is a class here? The class is nothing but these things. The class determines the possible operation, whether the object is a signal, is a operation, whether the signal whether the object is a variable, it is a variable operation. So whether it is a constant operation. So the class determines the possible operation such as the signal operation, variable operation and the constant operation. Type ఏం డిటర్మైన్ చేస్తుంది, మీరు ఏదైతే సిగ్నల్ డిఫైన్ చేశారో, ఏదైతే వేరియబుల్ డిఫైన్ చేశారో ఆ వేరియబుల్ కి, సిగ్నల్ కి, కాన్స్టాంట్ కి వాల్యూని అసైన్ చేస్తుంది. అంటే అది ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ వాల్యూని హోల్డ్ చేయగలదు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ బులియన్ టైప్ అన్నాను అనుకోండి. బులియన్ టైప్ లో ఏముంటాయి, లీగల్ వాల్యూస్. మీరు చెప్పండి, లీగల్ వాల్యూస్ ఏముంటాయి? లీగల్ వాల్యూస్ రెండు ఉంటాయి. ఒకటి ఏంటది ట్రూ, రెండోది ఫాల్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ ది లీగల్ వాల్యూస్. అదే మీరు బిట్ తీసుకోండి, బిట్ టైప్ తీసుకోండి. బిట్ టైప్ తీసుకున్నారు అనుకోండి, బిట్ టైప్ లో లీగల్ వాల్యూస్ ఎన్ని ఉంటాయి? రెండు ఉంటాయి. ఏంటవి? ఒకటి జీరో, లాజిక్ జీరో, రెండోది లాజిక్ 1. నేను చెప్పేది అర్థమవుతుంది కదా. లైక్ సో it determines the legal value of for an object. So you will understand in the next slide here. We will go to the next slide. So classes. So in VHDL there are 4 classes of data objects here. The VHDL has 4 classes of the data objects. What are they? Signal, variable, constant, file. So what is a signal here? The signal is an object. It is an object which hold the values or a list of values, and the values changes as a function of time. Where the variables, if you take the variables, if you take the variables also a data object, and they also hold the values, but the values changes instantaneously. The signal value change as a function of time. Okay, the signal value, the signal, variable, constant, ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఏం చేస్తాయి, మనకి ఒక వాల్యూని హోల్డ్ చేస్తాయి. సో సిగ్నల్ అని చెప్తున్నా. సో సిగ్నల్ అనేది ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది, it is a data object, it holds the value, but the value will change as a function of time. Variable ఏం చెప్తుంది, it is also a data object, it also holds the values, but the values of the type changes instantaneously. There is no time concept here. And the third one is constant here. The constant is also a data object which also holds the value, but once if the value is assigned, once if the value is given, the value cannot be changed because it is a constant. So the VHDL has 4 classes of the data objects. Actually the data object has 2 things. What are the 2 things? Class and type. So now the classes are 4 classes. Okay, signal, variable, constant. And the file here, if you see here, the file is a special class of object here. It is a special class of data object. It also used for values accessed here from the external disk. Suppose your files are in your hard disk. VHDL is a software tool. Okay, right. So the VHDL environment is different than the actual computer different environment, because it is a separate tool where you are using to modeling the digital systems. But if in any case your files are in your hard disk or in your memory, so now if you want to access any text file, or if you wanted to access any document, any picture, in that cases, so we have to access with the the external environment. I mean that host environment. The host environment is the computer memory. So to access the data from the computer memory, so we use the concept file here. So this is called the data object, special case of the data object, special case of the data object here. So what are the data objects of the VHDL? There are 4 data objectives. What are the data objects here? Signal is a data object, variable is a data object, constant is a data object, file is a data object. సిగ్నల్, వేరియబుల్, కాన్స్టాంట్, ఈ మూడు కూడా ఏం చేస్తాయి? వాల్యూస్ ని హోల్డ్ చేస్తాయి. కాకపోతే సిగ్నల్ ఏమవుతుంది? విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు టైం ఏంటంటే వాల్యూ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. వేరియబుల్ కనుకోండి, టైంతో సంబంధం లేదు, మీరు ఎప్పుడు చేంజ్ చేస్తే అప్పుడు చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. కాన్స్టాంట్ అనుకోండి, ఒకసారి కనుక మీరు వాల్యూ ఇస్తే అది త్రూ అవుట్ ద సిమ్యులేషన్ అది సేమ్ వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది. యూ కెనాట్ చేంజ్ ద వాల్యూ. ఫైల్ అనేది దేనికి ఉపయోగపడుతుంది? ఎక్స్టర్నల్ మెమరీలో కనుక మనకి కావలసిన డేటా ఉంటే దాన్ని యాక్సెస్ చేయడం కోసం ఫైల్ అనే దాన్ని యూస్ చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ ఫైల్. వాల్యూస్ యాక్సెస్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది ఎక్స్టర్నల్ డిస్క్ ఫైల్. సో నౌ object declarations. So now all these data objects are declared by means of the object declaration. They are all declared by means of the object declaration. So what is the syntax to that object declaration? So we will see here. So now see this one. So now you observe this syntax here. Now you may understand what is a data object here. A data object consists the class and it consists the type. Class ఏం చెప్తుంది? It is any one of the class, either signal, variable, constant or file. And what about the type? The type is, it may be a bit type or bit vector type, or it may be integer, or it may be real, or it may be a time, right? So there are different types of data types are available, but it is the syntax for the data objects. It is the data object syntax. So now we will discuss the one by one declarations to the signal and variables and constant and file. What is a signal here? A signal is a data object which holds a value or the list of values. A signal is a data object which holds a value or a list of values here. And these values are the current values, or they may be a set of the future values also, possible future values. మీరు ఒక సిగ్నల్ తీసుకున్నారు అనుకోండి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఏ అనే సిగ్నల్ తీసుకున్నారు, ఏ దగ్గర మీరు 0 అనే లాజిక్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చారు అనుకోండి, ఆ వాల్యూ అన్నది అవుట్పుట్ కి రీచ్ అవ్వాలి కదా. అప్పుడు అది అవుట్పుట్ కి రీచ్ అవ్వాలి అంటే ఏమవుతుంది? ఒక్కొక్క గేట్ నుంచి అవుట్పుట్ అనేది మూవ్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది కదా. ఇన్పుట్ ఏ 0 ఇస్తే అవుట్పుట్ అనేది 1 రావచ్చు, 0 రావచ్చు. కానీ ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది? ఆ ఏకి మీరు అప్లై చేసిన వాల్యూ అనేది సిగ్నల్ అవుతుంది. అంటే physically you can see the signal as a wire in the circuit. A is a signal. What do you mean that A? A is a connecting wire which carries the information of the or which carries the values of the A. Kabatti ikkada a signal is a data object which holds the a value or the list of values, and the values are maybe a current value or a future values. Suppose if the values are the future values, if the values are the future values, the future values can be assigned, the future values can be assigned using signal assignment statement. So signal assignment statement, we will use a signal assignment statement, and here the signal represent a wire or a logic signal in the circuit. So just now I said, so let's take the a block diagram or take the an external entity, take an entity. So let's say it is a gate of the not AND gate, it is an AND gate. So now what are the inputs? Assume the inputs are A and B. So now the A is a signal and B is a signal. So now what is that A represent? It represents a wire here because it is connecting, right? And the B is a signal. The signal is nothing but a wire. So physically, or the signal can represent as a wire in the circuit. ఒక సర్క్యూట్ లో మనం సిగ్నల్స్ అంటే ఎలా చూస్తాము? వైర్స్ ని మనం సిగ్నల్స్ అంటాం. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా ఆ సిగ్నల్ అనే దాన్ని మనం వైర్ తో రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాం. And where we can use this signal here? So signals can be declared in entity declaration, signals can be used in the architecture, and signals can be used in the package declarations. ఎక్కడ మనం ఈ సిగ్నల్స్ ని వాడొచ్చు? సిగ్నల్స్ ని వాడేది ఎక్కడ వాడతాము? ఒకటి ఎంటిటీ డిక్లరేషన్ లో వాడతాము, రెండోది ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ బాడీలో వాడొచ్చు, మూడోది ప్యాకేజ్ డిక్లరేషన్స్ లో వాడతాం. So they are legal in the entity, architecture, and package. Now we will see the signal declaration. So how to declare the signal here? The syntax to the signal declaration is this one. So see this one. So మీరు అక్కడ ఏం చూసారు? బేసిక్ గా మీరు అక్కడ ఇందాక ఏం చూసారు గుర్తుందా? క్లాస్ అన్నాను. ఇక్కడ క్లాస్ అంటే ఏం వచ్చింది? ఇక్కడ సిగ్నల్ వచ్చింది, రైట్? అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఏం వచ్చింది? సిగ్నల్ నేమ్ అండ్ టైప్ నేమ్. సో ఇది యాక్చువల్ గా మీ స్టాండర్డ్ వన్కే కదా, ఇంత ముందు మనం చూసిన దానికే కదా. చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఇదే కదా యాక్చువల్ గా బేసిక్ ది సింటాక్స్ హియర్, ద బేసిక్ సింటాక్స్ క్లాస్ ఐడెంటిఫైయర్ టైప్ నేమ్. సో అదే ఇక్కడ మనం చూస్తున్నాం ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ, రైట్? సో నౌ see an examples for these two. So see an example here. So first example, signal is a data object and the signal name is A. So it is a user identifier. So the user can assign this name, user identifier. And what is the type of the signal here? The type of the signal is bit, which means that the value may be 0 or 1. It has only two values. So these are the legal values to that bit type. Okay, and take the second example. So now see this here, signals. So signals తీసుకుంటే ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని సిగ్నల్స్ ఉన్నాయి మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. Signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, signal 4, signal 5, and these are all separated with the commas. And so here the type of the signal is standard logic. What is the difference between the bit and standard logic bit? In the bit you will have only the 4 possible combinations: 0, 1, U, and X, high impedance state. 0, 1, unknown, high impedance state. Whereas the standard logic, it will have the 9 possible values here. So you remember the 5, do you remember that values? 0, 1, U, W, X, high, low, underscore. So these are the 9 values of the standard logic package. మీరు ఎస్టిడి లాజిక్ వాడితే ఆ సిగ్నల్ కి 9 వాల్యూస్ లో ఏదో ఒక వాల్యూ తీసుకోవచ్చు మనం. మీరు అలా కాకుండా ఓన్లీ బిట్ మాత్రమే వాడారు అనుకోండి, బిట్ కి అయితే ఓన్లీ ఈ 4 మాత్రమే వాడతారు. ఈ 9 వాల్యూస్ అనేవి బిట్ కి రావు. So that is signal here. So what is a signal? A signal is a data object and which holds the list of values. And the values included the current values and a possible of the future values. If it is a future values, the future values can be declared by using the signal assignment statement. So this is called the signal assignment statement. So this is called signal assignment statement. So that is signal. And here the signals are the function of the time. So how we can understand this concept as a function of time? So in the next class we will see an example to that. But in today's class we will just discuss the signal and variable. The next one is the variable. The variable is also a data object which is used to hold a signal value of given type. మీరు ఏదైతే టైప్ ని డిఫైన్ చేస్తున్నారో డేటా టైప్ ని ఆ డేటా టైప్ కి అది ఒక వాల్యూని హోల్డ్ చేస్తుంది. That is what variable. And unlike a signal, the variable does not necessarily represent a wire in the circuit. Actually the signal represents a wire in the logic circuit, but the variable does not necessarily represent a wire. So it is not at all a wire here. Okay. And the different values can be assigned. Different values can be assigned to the variable at different timings using the variable assignment statement here. So the signals are the function of the time. Variables are not the function of the time. At any time you can change the value of the variable. For the signal you cannot change the value. According to the time it will change or it will be updated. So here the variables are used in the processes, functions and procedures. ఇక్కడికి మెయిన్ పాయింట్ ఇది. సిగ్నల్స్ అనేవి ఎక్కడైనా వాడచ్చు. ఎక్కడైనా అంటే ఎక్కడ వాడచ్చు? ఎంటిటీలో వాడచ్చు, ఆర్కిటెక్చర్లో వాడచ్చు, ప్యాకేజ్లో వాడచ్చు. కానీ వేరియబుల్స్ అనేవి అన్ని చోట్ల వాడము. ఎక్కడ వాడతాము వేరియబుల్స్ అనేవి? ప్రాసెస్లో వాడతాము. బిహేవియరల్ మోడలింగ్ లో ప్రాసెస్ స్టేట్మెంట్ వాడని చూసారా? ఆ ప్రాసెస్ లో వేరియబుల్ వాడతాము. ఫంక్షన్స్, ప్రొసీజర్స్ లో వేరియబుల్స్ వాడతాము. ఎంటిటీలో వేరియబుల్ వాడలేము. ఎంటిటీ డిక్లరేషన్ లో వేరియబుల్ అనేది మనం యూజ్ చేయలేము. And the variable declaration here. So the syntax for the variable declaration, see here, it is the same with an explicitity of the initial value. See this one, variable. It is the class and the variable type. So the variable name is the user identifier and it is an optional one, initial value. So you can have an initial values also. Example we will see here. See this example here. See this example, variable counter. So now the counter is an variable. Actually the counter is an object. This counter object is a variable and it is a standard bit vector here. Standard bit vector means you can define it the size of the vector from 0 to 7, right? So which means 8 data lines. And take the another example, see here, index. Index is a variable and index, what is the type here? Integer. That what is the type of the data type here? Integer. Integer 0 to 20. So what does it mean here? Integer 0 to 20. So here the variable index is an integer having the values between the 0 to 20 and it is initialized with the value 0. So the variable index have values between the 0 to 20 and the initial value to this variable is 0. Suppose if I have given 1, the initial value to this variable is now 1 here. Okay, so the signals are the function of the time. Variables are not the function of the time. At any instant of time you can change the values here. During the simulation also you can change the values. That is the flexibility with the variable here. And the next one, constant here. So the constant, a constant is also a data object here. A constant is also a data object here. So a constant is also a data object. It can hold a signal value of the given type. But the value assigned to the constant before the simulation only. So once if the value is assigned, the value cannot be changed during the simulation here. As long as you run the simulation, the value will be the same. If you want to change the value, then again you have to go back to your code and you have to change your value in the code. Then only the value will be updated in the simulation, right? And here, sorry, this actually statement లేదది అక్కడ కాపీ చేసినట్టున్నాను. This is also, sorry. So let's see the constant declaration here. The syntax for the constant declaration. So here also it is similar to the variable and signal. For signal you don't have the initial values, but now see here the constant is a variable. Sorry, the constant is a data object and the constant name is the user identifier, and you can give the type, name and the value. So now you see an example to this. So we will stop here. So within 1 minute I will stop. So see the example here. Constant is a data object and the user identifier that we have given is rise time. So now the rise time is a constant. The data object rise time is a constant and the type of the rise time is the time. It is no more the integer or real values because it is referring with the time. So the type is time and you are assigning the value to that rise time is 10 seconds. It is a constant value now. Throughout your running of the simulation, it is the constant value. If you want to change, you have to go back to your code and there you have to change the value. And see the another example, RST level. So here the reset level is a constant and it is a type of bit. So when it is a bit type, it will have only 4 possible values, 0, 1, UX. So here we have given a value 1. So which means that the RST level is a bit type and it has a value of 1. So which means that the signal is always on the high state only. It is always on the high state. Which signal? RST level is a constant signal. It is always on the high state only because it is a logic 1. So these are all the basic, these are all the data objectives, file, signal, variables and constant. So here, so shall I continue for the file?